The stars flickered silently as the alien ships emerged from the darkness of space. Captain J. Park watched the tactical display with growing dread. The collective's warships moved with calculated precision, their massive hulls blocking out the light of distant stars. Horizon Colony, a small human settlement on the edge of known space, had been peaceful just moments ago. Farming communities dotted the terraformed landscape, children played in protected biodomes, and workers went about their daily routines. No one expected the attack. The first plasma bolts struck the outer defense platforms. Explosions blossomed like deadly flowers against the black backdrop of space. Alarms screamed throughout the colony's communication systems. Lieutenant Sung Kim's voice crackled over the emergency channel, his words sharp and urgent. Multiple hostile contacts. Defensive systems are failing. Recommend immediate evacuation of civilian sectors. J. Park's hands moved across the holographic controls. Years of military training kicked in, pushing aside the fear that threatened to paralyze him. The colony's population numbered just over 50,000, mostly families, scientists, and agricultural workers who had come to build a new life on this distant world. The alien ships looked nothing like human designs. They were organic and angular, with strange pulsing energy signatures that defied traditional sensor readings. Each vessel seemed to breathe with an unholy life of its own, moving with a predatory intelligence that suggested more than simple mechanical operation. 3 massive assault ships descended through the colony's atmospheric shields. They moved like massive predators, cutting through defensive networks with terrifying ease. Ground defenses erupted in futile bursts of energy, tiny explosions that meant nothing against the overwhelming technological superiority of the attackers. Evacuate the primary residential zones, Jay commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. Priority on getting children and medical personnel to underground shelters. Panic began to spread. Families ran through streets designed for peaceful living, now transformed into corridors of terror. Transport shuttles struggled to lift off, many destroyed before they could clear the landing zones. The collective's weapons cut through human technology like it was made of paper. Sung Kim's voice broke through again. Captain, we've lost contact with outer defense platforms. Estimated time to total colony capture, 30 minutes. Jay watched as entire sections of the colony went dark. Plasma weapons turned buildings into molten slag. Agricultural domes, representing years of terraforming work, burst like fragile bubbles. The attack was systematic, designed not just to conquer, but to completely destroy any possibility of resistance. The aliens communicated in bursts of complex signal patterns. Their communication suggested a collective consciousness, a unified intelligence that viewed humans as nothing more than an obstacle. They believed humanity was weak, fractured, and incapable of meaningful resistance. They were wrong. In the colony's underground research facility, a group of engineers and scientists watched the destruction. Dr. Hai Kim, a brilliant weapons designer, began collecting data. Every blast, every weapon signature, every moment of the attack was being recorded and analyzed. They think this is a victory, she muttered, her fingers dancing across complex holographic interfaces. They have no idea what's coming. J. Park knew their survival now depended on more than just this moment. Each second of the attack was being transmitted back to Earth, to military command centers, to every human settlement in the galaxy. This was not just an attack on a colony, this was a declaration of war. As the last transport shuttles lifted off, carrying wounded and desperate survivors, Captain J. Park made a silent promise. The collective would pay for every life lost. Every destroyed building. Every shattered dream. Humanity would not be forgotten. Humanity would not surrender. The attack on Horizon Colony was just the beginning. Deep within an asteroid belt, hidden from alien sensors, a secret base hummed with intense activity. Dr. Hai Kim stood before a massive holographic display, her eyes tracking streams of complex data from the Horizon Colony attack. Survivors from the destroyed colony worked alongside military personnel and scientists. Their workspace was a maze of advanced computer systems, weapon prototypes, and communication networks. Every surface seemed to pulse with determination and anger. We can't fight them traditionally, Dr. Kim explained to a group of engineers and military strategists. Her hands moved across the holographic interface, pulling apart alien weapon signatures and technological patterns. Their ships have quantum shielding that our current weapons can't penetrate. The survivors from Horizon Colony wore matching black uniforms marked with a simple patch, a stylized human hand crushing a mechanical gear. Each of them had lost something in the attack. Families, homes, entire communities. Their eyes burned with a shared purpose of revenge. Lieutenant Wu Han, a special operations expert who had barely escaped the initial attack, spread out captured alien technology across a workstation. Pieces of alien communication devices, weapon fragments, and data storage units were carefully dismantled and studied. Their technology is advanced, Wu explained, but it has weaknesses. They rely on a centralized communication network. If we can disrupt that, we can create chaos in their fleet. Dr. Kim nodded. Her team had already developed preliminary designs for adaptive weapon systems. These weren't just traditional weapons, but sophisticated tools that could learn and modify themselves based on enemy technology. The base itself was a marvel of human engineering. Powered by geothermal energy extracted from the asteroid's core, it could remain undetected for years. Advanced cooling systems and quantum camouflage technology made it invisible to even the most advanced alien scanning methods. Young engineers worked in shifts, rotating between weapon design, communication analysis, and strategic planning. Some were survivors, others were volunteers who had heard about the attack and wanted to fight. Their ages ranged from early 20s to late 50s, but they shared one thing: a burning desire to protect humanity. "We're not just building weapons," Dr. Kim told a group of new recruits. "We're building a response. A message that humanity won't be conquered." Prototype ships began taking shape in massive construction bays. These weren't traditional military vessels, but hybrid designs that combined human creativity with reverse-engineered alien technology. Each ship was a potential game-changer, designed to exploit the weaknesses in alien defense systems. Communication networks spread across hidden relay stations. Information about the attack was carefully distributed, building a network of resistance that the collective couldn't track or understand. Every human settlement was being prepared, trained, and equipped for potential conflict. Wuhan's special operations team trained constantly. They practiced infiltration techniques, learned alien communication protocols, and developed strategies for disrupting enemy systems. Their training simulations became increasingly complex, pushing human tactical thinking to its absolute limits. "The collective thinks we're broken," Wu would tell his team during training. "They think a single attack can destroy our spirit. They're wrong." Outside the base, the asteroid belt seemed peaceful. Nothing suggested the intense preparation happening within the massive hidden facility. Sophisticated jamming technologies ensured that no external scanning could penetrate their defenses. Dr. Kim's most ambitious project was a weapon system that could adapt in real time. Unlike alien technologies that relied on centralized intelligence, this system would learn and modify itself during combat. It was quintessentially human, unpredictable, creative, and endlessly adaptable. As weeks turned into months, the underground resistance grew. More survivors joined. More weapon systems were developed. The pain of the Horizon Colony attack transformed into something powerful, a unified human response that would change the course of galactic conflict forever. They were no longer just survivors. They were the architects of humanity's revenge. Lieutenant Wu Han crouched in the darkness of an alien communication hub, his breathing controlled and steady. Months of preparation had led to this moment. A critical mission that could change everything. The alien facility looked organic, with pulsing neural-like networks running through metallic walls. Wu's specialized infiltration suit absorbed surrounding electromagnetic signatures, making him nearly invisible to alien sensors. Each movement was calculated, each breath measured. His team had spent weeks studying alien communication protocols. They understood now that the collective wasn't just a military alliance, but a complex network of species united by a singular goal: galactic domination. Humanity was just another potential conquest in their expansive strategy. Tiny nano devices attached to Wu's tactical gear began extracting data streams. complex alien languages transformed into readable human intelligence. What they discovered was horrifying. The Horizon colony attack was just a preliminary test. The collective planned systematic elimination of multiple emerging civilizations. Human settlements weren't their only target. At least 7 other developing species were marked for total destruction. The collective viewed technological potential as a threat, eliminating any civilization that showed signs of advanced development. "We're not just fighting for ourselves," Wu whispered into his communication device. "We're fighting for every species they plan to eliminate." Back at the underground base, Dr. Hai Kim and her team processed the incoming data. Complex algorithms translated alien communication patterns, revealing intricate details about the collective's military structure, technological capabilities, and strategic weaknesses. The information was a goldmine. They discovered that the collective's centralized communication network was both their greatest strength and their most significant vulnerability. A coordinated attack on their communication infrastructure could create massive systemic failures. Military strategists worked around the clock, developing comprehensive invasion plans. They weren't just preparing for defense, they were planning total retaliation. Every piece of captured technology was studied, analyzed, and potential counter-strategies were developed. Wu's team continued their infiltration, moving through the alien facility like ghosts. They planted sophisticated tracking devices, extracted communication encryption codes, and mapped internal network structures. Each successful operation provided more critical intelligence. The most shocking discovery was the collective's history. They had systematically eliminated dozens of emerging civilizations over thousands of years. Humanity wasn't unique in being targeted, but they would be unique in fighting back. "They've been doing this for generations," Dr. Kim explained to senior military commanders. "Identifying potential threats and eliminating them before they can develop advanced space travel capabilities." Training programs expanded. Every human settlement began preparing for potential conflict. Military recruitment surged. People who had once been farmers, scientists, and traders now trained in advanced combat techniques and tactical warfare. Weapon designers created adaptive technologies that could learn and modify themselves during combat. Unlike the collective's rigid technological systems, human weapons would be unpredictable, creative, and constantly evolving. Wu's final act in the alien communication hub was both strategic and symbolic. Before extracting, he uploaded a simple message into their communication network written in every language they had decoded. A warning. A declaration. Humanity is coming. The message would spread through their communication systems like a virus, creating confusion and uncertainty. Psychological warfare was just as important as technological preparation. As Wu's team extracted from the facility, leaving no trace of their infiltration, they knew they had changed everything. The collective would soon understand that their previous encounters with humanity were just the beginning. The real war was about to start. And humanity was ready. Part 4, the fleet assembles. The morning sun broke through the clouds as Captain Lee stood on the dock, watching ships arrive one by one. After weeks of sending messages to captains across the 7 seas, his plan was finally taking shape. Today, the fleet would gather. First came the Stormrider, a sleek vessel with black sails that seemed to drink in the light. Its captain, the fierce Amara, jumped onto the dock with a thud. Her reputation as a master navigator was known in every port. "I heard your call, Lee," she said, clasping his arm. "A chance to take down the Sea Serpent Company? I wouldn't miss it." Next arrived the Golden Horizon, its hull gleaming even in the weak morning light. Captain Torres waved from the wheel, his ship loaded with supplies and weapons. Lee had saved Torres from pirates years ago, and the debt was about to be repaid. By midday, 5 ships lined the harbor. The captains gathered in the old lighthouse to hear Lee's plan. Maps covered the rickety wooden table as he explained their target. "The Sea Serpent Company has stolen from us all," Lee said, his finger tracing the trade routes. "They've taken our goods, our ships, and even our crew members. But tonight, we take back what's ours." Old Captain Chen, his face weathered like dried leather, spoke up. "Their fortress has never been breached. What makes you think we can do it? Lee smiled and unrolled a special map. Because I have something they don't expect, a way in. He pointed to a small cove hidden behind rocks. There's an underwater cave that leads directly beneath their counting house. My diver found it last month. The plan was simple but dangerous. While 3 ships created a distraction at the main harbor, Lee and Amara would lead a small team through the underwater cave. They would take back the stolen treasure and escape before the company knew what happened. As the sun began to set, the captains returned to their ships. The air felt heavy with excitement and fear. Lee watched his crew prepare, checking weapons and securing ropes. These were ordinary sailors about to face the most powerful trading company in these waters. "Are you sure about this?" asked Jean, Lee's first mate. "If we fail, none of us will sail free again." Lee looked at the horizon where the Sea Serpent Company's island fortress could just be seen, its tall towers reaching for the sky. "Sometimes," he said, "you have to risk everything to change anything." As darkness fell, the ships raised anchor. They moved silently, lanterns covered, nothing but shadows on the black water. Lee felt his heart pound as his ship, the Swift Wind, took the lead. Hours later, they reached the splitting point. 3 ships turned toward the main harbor while Lee and Amara steered toward the hidden cove. The water was calm, almost too calm, as if the sea itself was holding its breath. "Ready the diving team," Lee ordered as they dropped anchor. 6 crew members, including Lee, prepared to enter the water. They carried waterproof bags with weapons and tools. Amara would remain on board, ready to pull them out fast if trouble came. "We have until dawn," Lee reminded them. "When you hear the signal, 3 cannon shots, we move out, no matter what." The water was cold as they slipped beneath the waves. Lee led the way, a small waterproof lamp guiding them toward the cave entrance. The narrow tunnel seemed to go on forever, their lungs burning before they finally surfaced in a dark chamber beneath the fortress. As they climbed onto dry stone, Lee heard the distant boom of cannons. The distraction had begun. Now they had to move quickly. "Remember," he whispered to his team, "we take only what was stolen from us and our allies. This isn't about greed, it's about justice." They found the hidden door just where the map had shown it would be. Beyond it lay the counting house and, hopefully, their stolen treasures. Lee took a deep breath and pushed the door open. The fleet had assembled. The plan was in motion. And there was no turning back now. The tunnel was dark and wet. Lin led the way, with Princess May close behind her. 50 of their best fighters followed in silence. Each step brought them closer to the castle above. "Remember," Lin whispered, "once we reach the guard post, we move quickly. No sound until we must." They had studied the tunnel maps for 3 days. Now it was time to put their plan into action. Outside the harbor, their fleet waited, hidden beyond the horizon. When the signal fires lit the night sky, they would attack. Water dripped from the stone ceiling. The smell of salt and mold filled the air. After an hour of careful movement, they reached a wooden door. Lin held up her hand, stopping the group. She pressed her ear to the door. 2 guards on the other side, talking about their dinner. Lin nodded to Tomas and another fighter. They readied their knives. The door opened with a slight creak. Before the guards could shout, Lin's team struck. The guards fell without a sound. The way was clear. "We're inside the lower castle," Lin told May. "From here, we split into 3 groups. Remember your targets." May nodded, her face calm despite her fear. "The signal tower, the main gate, and the prison." Lin's group would take the signal tower to light the fires for the fleet. Tomas would lead the attack on the main gate. The 3rd group would free prisoners loyal to the Empress, fighters they would need. They moved through shadowy halls, avoiding patrols. Twice they had to hide in empty rooms as guards passed. Once they had to silence a servant who spotted them. Every minute brought more danger of discovery. Lin's group reached the base of the signal tower. 4 guards blocked their path. No way to avoid them. Lin gave the signal, and her fighters attacked. The clash of steel echoed in the stone hallway. "We've lost surprise," Lin shouted. "Move now." They fought their way up the spiral stairs. Two of Lin's people fell, but the others pushed forward. At the top, they found the signal oil and torches. "Light it," Lin ordered, as she defended the doorway against guards rushing up the stairs. The signal fire blazed to life, visible for miles across the dark water. Lin prayed the fleet would see it. Across the castle, Tomas and his team battled at the main gate. They had almost reached the mechanism to open it when Commander Varric himself appeared with 20 elite guards. "The princess lives," Varric growled, seeing the fighting. "Find her. Kill the rest." Tomas fought desperately, buying time. His people were falling one by one, but they had nearly reached the gate controls. In the prison block, the third team had freed dozens of the Empress's loyal soldiers. These prisoners, weak but determined, grabbed weapons from fallen guards and joined the fight. Lin and May fought their way down from the tower, trying to reach the main gate. The castle was now fully alert. Alarm bells rang throughout the night. Guards rushed to every corner of the grounds. "The fleet," someone shouted. "Look at the water." Through a window, Lin saw a welcome sight. Hundreds of ships had appeared in the harbor, their sails black against the night sky. Captain Reeve led the first wave, her ships already exchanging fire with Varric's harbor defenses. "We need to get that gate open," Lin told May. "Or they'll be cut down before they reach the shore." They fought through corridors filled with guards. When they reached the main courtyard, they found Tomas wounded but still fighting. Half his team lay dead around him. "The mechanism," he gasped, pointing to a large wheel. "It's jammed." Lin and 3 others pushed against the wheel while May and the remaining fighters defended them. The wheel refused to move. "Together!" Lin shouted. With one final effort, the wheel turned. The massive gates began to creak open. Outside, the fleet had landed on the shore. Hundreds of fighters poured through the gap in the gates, led by Captain Reeve and Captain Darius. The battle turned to chaos. The castle courtyard became a sea of fighting bodies. Lin kept May close, cutting down any who approached the princess. Varric, seeing his forces overwhelmed, retreated to the throne room with his elite guards. Lin, May, and the captains fought their way toward him, determined to end his rule. Blood stained the castle stones. Friends fell on both sides. But as dawn broke over the eastern sea, the tide of battle had clearly turned. The fleet had come. The fight for the kingdom had truly begun. And in the princess's eyes, Lin saw not fear anymore, but a fierce determination to reclaim what was hers.